everybody. I'm Melanie, your host to the Secrets to a Free Mind podcast, and we are promoting the series Secret Scent of a Woman, Man, every first Friday of each month. We have different commercials out there on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play that you'll be able to review and see and have fun and share. Hit that subscribe button. Also, click that bell so definitely you can stay in tune to the different shows about the Secret Scent of a Woman, Man series on the Secrets to a Free Mind podcast. So we want to meet the panelists today. Who's going to go first?
All right, so my name is Kevin Stormer. I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Definitely glad to be here today. Just a little background about myself. I am now 15 years in the business, been married with three beautiful girls. Currently, like I said, in Winston-Salem. Have known a few people on this meeting for a lifetime. But definitely excited about being here. A little bit of background about myself. I am currently a law enforcement officer in Winston. I did attend college with a couple of the attendees here at ECU and A&T, so I shared both of the experiences.
Wow.
Again, happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Albert Baptist. I live in Durham, North Carolina. I've been married for 20 years next year. And I'm a network engineer by trade and happy to be here. I have two boys, one in college at 18 and another one's 15 here. So about to be an empty nester.
That's that virtual mic. Who's picking it up?
I can pick it up. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Melanie. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Kevin Wiggins. First of all, I have been married 32 years. We just celebrated our 32nd anniversary the 8th of October. So we don't have any kids, but we have a host of nieces and nephews that we have adopted, put through college, and just made them our own. So that's definitely a blessing.
It is.
I am a retired Air Force emergency manager. I retired from the Air Force for 20 years. And I currently, the job that pays the bills, I currently work for the Department of Defense as the Chief of Emergency Management over at Fort Belvoir in Virginia. That pays the bills. However, my first love is music. I've been DJing for 30 plus years. I have a team of DJs. I have my own company. We do all type of events all up and down the East Coast. And that's how me and Melanie connected through the love of music and then the support and the networking from an entrepreneurial perspective. I live in Clinton, Maryland. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. Love to travel, love to play racquetball, love to try to stay in shape as much as possible. And just love people at all. Just love people. So with that, thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's me.
Okay, man.
Okay, hello, everybody. Thank you, Melanie, to invite me to this meeting. I am new. So, I will try my best. My name is Twain. I live in Arlington, Virginia, and I am a technical sports specialist. I've been working in FCC for 26 years, and I know Melanie for other 10 years. And I have been married with my wife about 27 years, but the married age, because we don't know each other, it's kind of like a family arrangement, just like old traditional. And I don't know when I'm part of the family, so I just go with my family arrangement. And I work in the IT business for 25 years, more than 25 years, but I got nothing to hide, I did not go to school at all. So all my IT job is hand-on experience. I work I start with my IT, for me like a planned white paper, and I build it up every day until now, So it's like say, I know enough to get by on my test.
You do more than just enough, man. You are definitely a stellar IT service provider, and I can definitely vouch for that.
Oh, thank you. I try my best. You know, there is still a lot of things to learn. There's a lot of things to learn out there.
Mhm.
And I keep, working on that every day. And it's nice to meet everybody here and nice to meet, with your old friends.
Oh.
Um, Sorry, I don't know what to tell much, but I just try to catch up. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. Welcome, everyone, so far.
All right.
Hey, I'm Joanie. It's awesome to be here. Hey, everybody, and thank you, Melanie. This is awesome to come and share and exchange ideas with you and with everybody and grow. I am Hecho Mexico. I'm from Mexico. Was born there in Tampico and then moved to the United States and grew up in Florida. And I now live in Maryland. I am a vocalist, a performer. I make radio commercials. I make music. I teach little kids how to sing and perform and songwrite and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So we're talking about personal relationships. However, it can translate over to your professional world, family dynamics. So let's just go around the table and share, what are your thoughts about verbal ethics and what does it mean to you?
You know, I'll start off. One of the biggest things I've learned over the 20 years that I've almost been married, I call it 20 years. I've been with my wife for 25 years. But the biggest thing I've learned in that the ethics of talking with her is always trying to be as respectful and courteous as possible, even and not hitting below the belt in arguments.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody argues. Nobody get out
Oh.
and say that they don't argue. I mean, even you stayed in the house with your mom, your dad, your sisters, and you argue with people that's closest to you because that's why you're closest to them. But I had to learn always be respectful in my arguing. Don't hit below the belt and drag up things from the past.
Okay. So, Albert, you telling me you push a button every now and then? Did you try to initially?
I didn't say I push a button. She pushed a button.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna let you slide it out. Okay.
Of course, you know, we all push buttons, and sometimes we push buttons we don't even know we push them.
Yeah, that is true.
That's the funny thing about it.
I like the fact you said that, growing up, when we're used to talking to, when you're at home, you just cut loose, you're free. And with family, you're used to saying, some people say more than others, just talk and just share how they feel. So when we step into the workforce, when we step into other type of relationships, we're also experiencing how to use our manners, past the I thank you, or excuse me. So this also relates to manners, listening to when people are talking. And of course, we all can do that, because I know, for example, for me, and I'm going to be real, I can be excited about talking to you, and we can just kind of talk over each other. But when a person is being malicious or when a person is being intentionally mean. So when you know a person and you know their intent, that just changes the dynamics of the situation. True or false?
True.
Very true. Very
True.
But one thing I also learned in that even sometimes when you don't mean things,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna speak from my personal experience with my wife. Sometimes, even though we've been together for all these years,
Mm-hmm.
on what the subject matter is, even when I don't mean anything, she can take it a way that she can be offended by it. So that's something I've learned. That's been a struggle over the last 20 years of making sure that I try not to do those little things, even though we don't mean it. And because I learned that, sometimes we come from different backgrounds.
Right.
With my wife and the background she's from, it's just certain things that her family didn't say or do, whereas totally opposite with mine. And like you're saying, Melanie, you just keep talking and you kind of cutting each other off, and it's never anything meant by it, because we family, that's the way we do it. But my wife's family, she come from a family of educators, and they don't communicate the same way. But the thing is learning those little intricacies about the relationship and the person that you're with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, would you say also, Albert, that it helped that you both are different? You complemented each other in that way, in your communication styles and skills.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's a good thing.
That's one thing that, they say opposites attract, and those are make it keep going, those differences, and it makes you grow and learn and get better, because, you also, a lot of these things we're talking about translate over into the professional world too.
There's also a flip side, a pro and a con, because I know when my husband and I, we've been married for 7 years now, and we're communicating. And like Albert said, sometimes one person can say something, didn't mean it any kind of way, except maybe even just literally, and the other person takes it the wrong way. I know if I take something and it like sends, I'm on fire when I hear a comment, sometimes I will remember to stop at that moment and go, what did you mean by that? And ask for clarification, because a lot of the times when I might hear comments directed towards me, I'll have to remember that they're projections and hooks that I'm integrating, that I'm recognizing, and they may not mean it that way, but that might be something triggered in me that now I have to go and work on, because it's fired up something in me that he may not have even meant to do. So that's the other like pro and con aspect, the other mirror side of the situation.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Now, I always say people know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Now, I always, but then again, also people don't know the extent or the magnitude of what they're doing, and also how it affects them, not just the person to which they're talking. So I like the fact that you mentioned what you're recognizing, being conscious of what triggered in you to be offended by what they said. Yeah.
Because it may have nothing to do with what they said or how they even meant it.
Any other good tips on how to mitigate any drama or any confusion?
So Mel, can I go back a little bit back to the beginning of the conversation in reference to verbal ethics?
Sure.
And from my perspective, your verbal ethics it has 2 lanes that you drive in, so to speak. Okay. Because your verbal ethics with your spouse is a little different than your verbal ethics with your coworkers and your teammates at work. So I'm gonna go to the work side before I go to the relationship side. On the work side, everyone is theoretically professional and supposed to, be cordial with their teammates and with their leaders and with their managers in the way they speak. But me speaking from a manager perspective, you have to know your people and then know how to communicate effectively with your people. What may work with one individual in a communications perspective may not work with another. I have like 13, 14 employees, and I have to communicate with all of them differently. But as a manager, I have to understand them. Let's go to the relationship. All right.
I love this.
Me and Miss Wiggins. We've been married 32 years and we communicate. We know each other. But I'm gonna give you a prime example. This morning, we was in Sam's and we were shopping, and she said something, and I was like, "Why did you say it like that?" I like that. And then she's like, "I didn't mean it that way." And me, we've been being married for 32 years. I understood, but I was like, I could get offended, but I'm not, because I understand. I understand her way of communicating. I understand her way of speaking. You know what I mean? And sometimes it come right out. And
that reptile.
Right. It comes right out. Right. Okay, all right. Honey, you ain't mean it. It's all good. I know what you mean. Go over there and this is what happened. Go get me a cart. That's how she said. Go get me a cart. I said, why you ain't just say, can you go get me a cart, please? Go get me a cart. I know she ain't mean nothing by it, but it was the way.
And that's a very good point, because it's also a talent when we know how to switch it up. You have to know to whom you're talking. Like you said, when we're talking with professionals in the marketplace, it's different from when we're talking to family members, extended family members, and also as opposed to immediate family. There's a difference there too. So people that you see every day is going to be different. But still, let's talk about, regardless of how often or how much interaction you have with those intimate within those intimate relationships, still there's a level of respect, which Albert mentioned earlier. Kevin, what do you have to say about that?
Okay. So one of the things I learned on the professional side and trying to incorporate into the personal relationship side is sometimes you have to learn that the statement or the comment is not about you. Like, don't make it about you. Because for me, I know when I have those conversations with an employee at work or coworker at work, there's tact and there's a goal from that conversation, or you're hoping to get from that conversation. It's not a whole lot of emotions in it for me. But when you had that conversation with your partner, sometimes it's just you want to get and verbalize something out, and you're not expecting them to make that comment about them directly. They not have anything to do with it. The way that you phrased it may not be the best, but it doesn't have anything to do with them. So what I learned is to not let the statement, I try not to make the statement about me. Like, even though you might be talking to me about something that I did or something that we're doing, I try not to make it personal about me the way that I received the message.
That's good.
And I say it because we get in a comfort zone with our partner that's our partner. We can say anything, we can do anything, and you're not thinking about the repercussions from how that message was delivered, how it was perceived, because you're in your comfort zone. At work, you got this mask up. This is my professional me. You're not going to see the true me. I'm going to do these tasks and try to keep emotions out of it. But at home, you just feel like it's free flowing, and it doesn't always come out the best. But I try to learn not to let the statement make it about me.
Mm.
Oh, well, when they mean what they mean, they mean what they mean. And, but my thing is, I try not to get mad about the petty stuff.
Right, of course.
Like Kevin said that his wife told him, go get a car. She didn't mean anything by it.
Right.
He took it the wrong way. Is big on being polite at all times. Mm-hmm. And so, but she'll do the same thing. And I'm like, you know what? Did you mean to say it that way? Because I just know my character right there. Are you meaning to be mean to me? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. At the same time, I'm just like, whatever, man. Because my mom, I grew up in a household. My mom would fuss and raise sand around there. And I grew a tough skin. So mom, aunts, I just had family members that it was something. It was just what it was, and you grew a tough skin. It ain't no big deal. So if I was ever in the military and had a commander fussing and cussing and raising all types of sand, like Forrest Gump. Okay. I just don't let petty stuff bother me. And
right, of course.
To keep friendships and relationships, because if you let the small things get in the way of any relationship, it'll destroy it.
Right. Now let's not the small things. Let's get into some big things. So let's go back to Albert, what you said about, the petty things. Of course, we don't want to get caught up in petty. It's not even worth it. It's not even a waste of time. Let's just say in the early part of your marriage, of getting to know, or dating, or whoever, let's say it's a big art, because we all can have disagreements. Now, I'm not talking about just out, Kevin, I know this is your thing. I'm not talking about, because you was like, if it's too much, I'm out from the beginning. So it wasn't even no lasting anything if it's like that. Nothing that's violent or, of course, or that's dysfunctional. I'm talking about it got heated past the level of something petty, something that was meaningful to you. How did you handle or transition you both out of that pit, as it were, that could have went deeper and deeper? Joanie?
Normally it's saying we need a break. We need like a 5 or 10 minute break to collect, our thoughts, because now we're talking in circles, and it's usually like the emotion is there, and when the emotion takes over the conversation, both people are saying the same thing over and over again.
That's true.
So that kind of lets me know, okay, we're not listening. I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be back, or I got to go get a drink of water or something. Be like, and then we'll finish usually.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Take a break. Step away.
Yeah.
I like that. Kevin Stormer.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, Mint, we were talking about we had disagreements. What is a good pivotal point of, okay, before it gets heated, or it gets, we get even more angry? What would you do to change the situation between you and your wife? Or if you have a experience you would feel comfortable sharing?
Okay. On that situation, because my wife, she's very emotional person, and from my experience, when my wife, when she come up with her emotions,
Mm-hmm.
I keep my mouth shut.
Oh.
I keep my mouth shut, I keep quiet, and she can talk all the way she wants to talk, tell about everything. I keep my mouth quiet. It's the best thing.
That's the best thing.
That's the best thing when a woman in the emotional, option. It's the best thing to keep my mouth shut.
Okay,
Don't say that thing.
that's the secret scent of a man-woman tip for today. Keep that mouth shut. I like it. I like it. But you know what? So how many years do you have under your belt married?
Totally about 27 years.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm from here. I fly back to Vietnam. Like you mentioned earlier, this is the kind of family wedding arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not know my wife before.
Okay.
So you kind of family arrangement.
Okay.
So after my wife came here in 1996, and we've been living together, we love each other, day by day, and we have some arguments sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I got argued back with her, talk back with her, some of that, and getting worse.
So the more you communicated with her,
yeah,
you learned each other.
See, because I did not know her before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then boom, just a family arrangement. So come to the end. So we got married. I got one son, and so my wife is, and then the day we got older, and my wife is more emotional. So I learned from mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to build it up.
Okay.
I did wrote a poem.
Okay.
Can I read that to everybody to hear this?
Sure.
Okay, it's called Last Dance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my dear, the music has been started. Let our heart follow to the rhythm from songs of life. Honey, hold tight my hand, we start to dance. Let's set aside of wherever we call the sad. It's time for our heart to feel in our steps. 2 steps moving side by side. It's tough in our life. 2 steps moving forward if we step on each other's foot. 2 steps moving backward if we should see our mistake. Honey's dancing with love is a truly romantic, but the rhythm of music is always changed by the name of song. Baby, I am sorry that I should back a few steps so I can see clearly of what my love is talking about. Step backward or forward, we shall see our steps. Hand in hand is no matter whatever we be changed. I will hold in your hand to finish this dance to the end. So
Mm-hmm.
What I mean is, everybody, in the marriage, and we have some bad time, good time, and if you think you are always right,
Mm-hmm.
then you know that you're totally wrong. If you are think you're totally wrong, then you got some right there. So when I wrote this poem, and I tell my wife that there's nobody perfect in this world,
Mm-hmm. That's right.
and I had to see the good part. There, of course, there's a lot some bad part, some really bad part. We can ignore that. Maybe look into the good part. Like, man, sometimes my wife got angry. She threw me out.
Mm-hmm.
She threw me out. Really bad. Even though if I try to talk back with her, right,
Mm-hmm.
and they made the situation getting worse. So I learned about her. I know she talk a lot, but okay, but she really care about me.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good,
Okay,
man.
yeah,
That's
she really
good.
care about me. So I try to point to the good part to get things get better.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you need to step back, calm down to listen
That's right.
what your opponent is talking about.
That's
If
key,
you
man.
always say, okay, you always make your own decision, but we are discussing, that's bad. I'm talking about not only in the family and always on the job market. I mean, friend, you got to listen to what other people say.
That's right. And I like the analogy you use, dancing. Dancing, this is your partner. You may mess up, you may trip, you may get the wrong step, but you're staying committed to the dance.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that, man.
Thank you.
So before we step off for this first Friday, and we hate to leave you guys, what do you want to leave with the audience? What's a good tip on using verbal ethics?
Okay, let me say the last thing. I want to leave to the audience. In this world, nobody perfect and nobody right all the time. So my best advice is, always keep yourself calm in some situation, even like the worst situation. You try to keep yourself calm, and because if you can step, a couple of steps, you can see the picture clearly. If you keep moving forward without holding back, you might fall into a cliff. That is my mistake. I have done it before. I brush up and try to move forward, without looking back, with my holding to see, and I failed many times. So this is my lesson is I like people take your little time, you still can have moving forward, but at least need to hold back to look at things more clearly. You see, when you want to look at the picture, right? If you move very close to the picture, you won't see the whole thing clearly. If you can go back about 2 steps or 3 steps, you can see the picture clearly. So that's my advice to the audience, right?
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Couple of the most important traits of effective communication, I think, is realizing verbal and nonverbal communication, and then also, more importantly, the ability to listen, an ability to comprehend the message that's being transmitted in that perspective. And then I think you should think before you speak,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And then I think you should consider the outcome of your spoken word.
Yes.
So that's what I have to offer.
Ooh, can I shout on that one? And we don't do that always, but for the most part, that is so important. So important, Kevin.
I'll chime in next. And one thing I want to say that to the audience is, you know, sometimes you can't dictate, well, no times you can dictate what a person say. Only thing you can dictate is how you take it. And especially loved ones, try to take the positive side out of your communication with your spouse and try not to take the negative out of it. You know, I ditto what Ming and Kevin just said, but you know, on the other side of that is you can only be responsible for how you receive things. It's like taking a glass half full or half empty. So, you know, your loved ones, don't take it personal unless you know they mean it to be a personal thing. And then you have to work through it from that perspective.
Good tip, Albert. Good tip.
So one of the things that I learned from my wife is about communication is the illusion that communication is taking place because there's an exchange of words. Like just because your mouth is open and you're speaking to someone doesn't mean that that is communication. It's a give and take. It's listening and receiving. So it's kind of like what Kevin and Albert said is you shouldn't go into a conversation with a predetermined outcome other than seeking more information on it. But if your partner does not give you the response that in your mind you're expecting, you still have to understand that that's what they're communicating to you. You got to process, you got to give that person that opportunity to express that. You got to process that and not to go into it, well, I'm going to ask them about X, Y, and Z. And in your mind, you've already got the response that you're expecting your partner to give you. And it may not be that. Like communication is a dance, like it's a dance. It's going to change when you stumble or step on your partner's foot and you got to get back on track.
So true, Kevin. So true.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Joanie?
Yeah. The other thing is when you notice you get fired up or heated, whether it's with a spouse, a family member, a coworker, realize that they have a completely different life experience, a completely different perspective than we could ever understand because we're not them.
That's true.
So to remember when things get superheated, and I know it's difficult because when the fire goes up, it's just like it wipes out the brain and then you just get into this reaction state. If we can practice asking the question first, how do I bring love into the situation? Whether it's with an acquaintance or whatever, you know, how can I bring love in the situation? To have that sense of slowing down and listening and asking more questions to get more information to come to a greater resolution, not in the sense of maybe necessarily solving the problem right then and there, but resolution in the sense of a microscope where you can see deeper into what's going on and understanding of what's going on.
It's easier for me to do professional because I mean, the job is the job. I mean, that's what I expect from going to work. The side benefit from doing your job well and having a good character is you develop personal relationships, and maybe some of those professional relationships now become personal. But it's easier for me to cut ties professionally because all I'm really expecting is for the job to get done. The personal side is more difficult because you have more of your emotions invested in it. So now I feel some kind of way. I took that personal. You hurt my feelings because I'm expecting more from you because I put you in a different space. Learning that everybody doesn't have the same etiquette, background, training, and experiences is something that I had to process because I used to get hot on emails that I would receive because I took courses that taught you about email etiquette. So when I saw caps or somebody thought it was cute to change the color of the font, in my mind, when I opened that, because of what I was taught in my experiences, you're yelling at me.
Okay.
So everybody doesn't have the same experiences in how they communicate and react. So It's just something you got to understand, that everybody's not coming from the same background as you, and you got to figure out how to navigate that. But it's easier for me to do it in a professional setting than in my personal space.
Okay. Well, we'll leave room for another discussion during another First Friday. I want to thank everyone for joining in this evening. It's been so much fun. I love to hear from your different perspectives, your experiences, and also the wisdom that you have to share. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks to your family for sharing you today. We will see you again next First Friday with same or different people, who's ever available. You just never know who's going to be on the panel.